So next, let us talk about the rules you should follow when you develop a microservice. Okay. So the first thing is highly cohesion. That means when a business services or a business part is getting divided, it should be divided in a smallest business part as much as possible. Okay, so basically you can think of it like one business task is equal to one service. So you can literally see our this um, this e-commerce site. So there we have divided this service into six different services. So order management can be a one single business unit, but there are multiple other business units inside it, right? One is which is taking care of the management. There is one unit which is taking care of the shipping, one unit which is taking care of the inventory management, and one unit which is taking care of the ordering from the supplier. So you are dividing this complete order management into multiple possible business unit. So one business functionality, one service. So that's the rule you should use. Okay, but at the same time, don't divide it too much, right? I have seen companies who have end up in converting the functions of a particular code into microservice. Like I'll tell an example. This is not the real-time example. So you have a user management service, right? So implementing a user management service as a microservice makes sense, but creating a separate service for authentication, creating a separate service for user creation, separate microservices for password reset, that may not be the right approach, right? So you should divide them into smallest business part, but at the same time, don't go into the function level. Okay. So for that, there is one more concept available called function as a service. Almost all the cloud providers now provide a serverless architecture. So it is called as you don't see any server. You just write a function, and that function will be executed and the result will be given to you. Like for example, in the user management I told right now, right? You can write a separate function for authentication, separate function for user creation, and separate function for the password reset. So the advantages of this serverless architecture is you will be charged only for the execution of the particular function. Okay. So normally you will have more number of requests on the authentication, the password reset, and the other things. You will have only less number of things. And as this is a small function, if you want to make any changes, you will be able to make changes to it. Okay. So this is the advantage of a function as a service. So Amazon provides a service called Lambda. Okay. And in Azure, there is a service called Azure Function. And then in Google, I think there is a function called Google App Function. Okay. Just for your information, this is something one more level beyond the microservice. There, on a code, a function is divided as a separate service. Okay. So that's why I told you, don't go into that level. That's called serverless architecture, not microservice. Okay. So let me continue. Okay. So we were talking about the rules and workflow we should follow while developing a microservice. So the first rule we talked about, high cohesion, right? Where all the business model needs to be subdivided into the smallest possible business part. Okay. And the next thing is called as a independent. Okay. So we already talked about it. A microservice should be independent. So when a request comes to it, it should be able to process the, if there is any business logic needs to be applied, that should be applied within the service. And if it needs any additional information for that, it can get it from the other services. Okay. And next thing is business domain centric. The software will be modularized according to the business unit, not the tier based. Okay. So this is a very common misunderstanding with microservices. Like, so you have a separate service for web, you have a separate service for app, and you have a separate service for DB. That's a common misinterpretation. So it should be business service based, not tier based. Okay. And next is automation. So the testing, deployment, all these things to be automated. Okay. and try to avoid human interventions in the deployment process. Okay, and next is the observable part. Each service will be full stack in nature, so I should be able to independently deploy and observe them, like using log monitoring, other monitoring services. I should be able to do that. So these are all the rules you should follow while deploying the microservice application. And the next rule is all about team management for my microservice. Okay, so a team for microservice development should be a two-pizza rule. That is, the team should not contain more than max of 10 people. Okay, so that 10 people should have all the developers, project managers, your DevOps engineers, and your testers. All these people should be part of the team, and the team size should not be more than 8 members. Okay, and next one is called the task management. So task is an important rule in a software development. Okay, so whenever you create a microservice, the best development principle you should follow is agile. Okay, SDLC cannot really work on the microservice based development. So it should be majorly agile based. You should follow a sprint methodology.